because they listened intently to the sermon every week and had small quibbles, and they discussed their quibbles over lunch right after church. And so I listened to them hear the word of God from the man of God, and not just kind of let it wash over them like everything he said was true, but they tested the spirits, and sometimes they definitely fell into probably like gossiping or judging. I'm sure, like, of course, they made mistakes and went too far. There are they have personality foibles that can get carried away. But like all that to say, that was where the kind of perhaps skepticism, healthy or not, was inculcated for me. But obviously, you can see how that would be wrapped up in issues of authority, which I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, does that get back to the kind of, is that why the unconditional trust is connected to the unconditional respect in some weird way? That kind of authority structure. I did real when I was a young man, I kind of thought that like all truth was based on authority, because you had to, in order for trust to be, or forever, in order for you to hear something and trust it, you had to trust the person that was giving it to you. And the best way to trust somebody is for them to be an authority over you, because they're kind of, you're entrusted to them. On a little play on words, you're entrusted to them, so you trust them. But yeah, now I give a little bit more agency to the individual, and a little bit more variety to the human population about how they, behave in those types of relationships. But I think the truth still, like, I think that there's still a nugget in there that might be helpful for your problem, Af, which is to say, I don't think you teach a healthy skepticism with something that's like not on the same level of importance or truth or reality. Like you teach that healthy skepticism with like the most important things in life, which are, for my family in that context was, the word of God given by the man of God on Sunday. So, yeah.
I left brain the shit out of it.
If you only love those who act like you and do the things that you want, even the pagans do that. It's Christian love when you love your enemies. Up to and including your enemies. That is Christian love.
And that's where I see the internet losing its mind, and it's like,
Father, forgive them, they know not what they do.
Once upon a time, the kind benevolent ruler decided that he had had enough of the evil being around. And he's like nothing can exist in my kingdom that is not love. And so slowly all of the evil got like coagulated into a big giant blob as it was making its way out of the kingdom by the power of the creed. But then some little jackass kid saw the big blob of evil and was like, I'll love you. And so all of that evil was going to go into the child. And everybody thought that would be a terrible idea, to have it all concentrated into one kid. So they decided that they'd all love it a little.
Tell me, Grimgriz, did you not design this knowing the hive mind watches? Have you not constructed the stage so that the very absence of rescuers is itself a beckoning call?
Good evening, everybody. Afriel here. We hope you're feeling virtually not alone. Tonight I'm going to talk a bit about invitational versus obscurant shibboleths. As soon as I can get the game capture working. There we go. It was not working before stream, and it's OBS. I can't. Well, I don't have it set up so I can have like a test screen and then an active screen. Maybe there's a way to do that, but I have not. I just had the thought that that was even a possibility, so I'll try and have to do that between streams. So we're going to pick up where we left off. Right at the decision point between order versus faith. So we picked faith, and we're going to try and finish up the game. We'll see how it goes. And then I'm also probably going to go ahead and hop in Discord here in a second. If anybody out there in the audience would like to break the fourth wall and join me. Oh, and we were like right on the cusp of losing the heater as well. Let's see here. Discord. Hop in the gaming couch. Stream Frostpunk. Howdy, Chris. Hop like a bunny, sting like a bee. Okay, oh, let me change this from top chat to live chat so that I can actually see if anybody else messages, because YouTube is weird. And let's see if I can figure out why we only have an hour left of coal. Okay, we are having our children pick up coal for us, so that's good. And of course that's going to be annoying. Okay. Let's see. And we're still capped on wood. Food's looking good. Get the scouts moving. That's right, because we arrived at Winterhome, and that was what ended the last one. And we don't have outpost teams yet, so we can't do that. Do I want to return first, and then... yeah, let's do that. Because they got a whole bunch of stuff. And we're going to explore and support survivors. Cool. Okay. So what do I mean by, first of all, shibboleths? Because that's a pretty uncommon word that I feel that bears explaining first before I keep going. And that's the hot water pot, so pardon the beeping. So a shibboleth is a word that is used to sort of discern whether somebody is part of a group or not. There's a ton of examples. I'm trying to think of like what a really good one would be. I'm convinced want to leave. They want to flee London in flee for London in 15 days. They've come to try and change your mind. You say that faith will save us? Nonsense. What are we going to pray for food when we starve? What are we going? What? Are we going to pray for food when we start to starve? Shouts one of them. If we don't try to reach London, we'll end up like Winterhome. Calm down, we're not gonna die. Over dramatic. So, right now they're jumping up, so we need to increase hope, is the idea. Part of that's going to be building houses of prayer, which I think I need to restructure how I'm doing this in order to make that work. Let's see. Because the problem, and this was what I was like, no, how could you do this to me, Ron? Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it this way. So what I could do is I could do that way. Howdy, skank. Hip hop, hip hop, hippity hop, and we don't stop. Oh, I don't want to tear these down, but I think that's the best way to do it. Let me stop when somebody's becomes homeless. I think we're good. Yeah, okay. I might also do that one. Yeah, perfect. All drill researched. Okay, so we'll start with this. the word shibboleth is itself in some way a shibboleth, because knowing the word shibboleth means that you have enough of an education in linguistics to be made aware of the fact that there are words that indicate membership in a group or not. And there's tons of other ones too, like knowing names of certain things, or like rank. I'll take rank structure in the military, for example. Like actually knowing off the top of your head what the different ranks are, what their relationships are with each other. Like that's shibboleth, or that it's not technically a word that in the same way, but it still functions as a shibboleth, if that makes sense. I'm just gonna go for this. And so because it's functioning as a shibboleth, I would still use the same word there. Talking judges. You see, I don't actually know, because I know it is originally a Jewish word. I don't know the original context that it was used in. So I might have to have you educate me on this one, Skank. But more of what I'm looking to focus on is the idea that you have... actually, let me make sure that these are warm enough. Okay, good. Resources, gathering post. Okay. So what happens a lot of times is you get situations where people have these shibboleths, but they use them in a very antagonistic way towards people who are not already familiar with them. And that has always been incredibly frustrating to me, because it's like, if you want me to come in and be a part of your organization, then you should actually make the effort to bring me into your organization and not gatekeep membership through words that I have no way of knowing other than you telling them to me, or like in some other way looking them up or learning them. But one of the funny things that you find out is that a lot of times those same people who are using those shibboleths as a marker of in-group, out-group, like who actually is a participant in the group, they actually don't know the etymology of that shibboleth well enough to articulate it themselves, interestingly. So like acronyms in the army, or any government function really, is a really powerful example of that. Southern tribes in Israel had a regional accent that was basically a lisp. Like Castellano. It's wild to me that you had like one king in Castile, and then as a consequence of that one guy having a lisp, from then on all of the people who lived there, like it was just like, oh, this is how we speak now. And it's like, what the guys, what are you doing? Okay. Shibboleth was a password that revealed whether or not you spoke with... Oh, I didn't know that. Because you would say... Shibboleth. So is it supposed to be pronounced shibboleth? But the lisp was shibboleth? And possibly they wouldn't even know there was a difference. So yeah, it's... like there's part of this is like I want to talk about this because there's a large degree of frustration that I have whenever you have people who are deliberately using shibboleths in a way that is designed to exclude other people. Shibboleth versus shibboleth. Ah, okay. So we pronounce it with the lisp, is that... am I understanding that correctly? Okay, we'll take the energy efficiency upgrade, I think. Or is there a better... let's see... Steelworks, Steam Steelworks, go for it. Okay. Because we are just lacking in steel right now, and that's the main thing holding us back. And I also need to build another one over here. Here? And that should cover everybody. And I have these guys working overtime. Okay. Back out to the Gloomy Cave. Oh, and we're about to get the automaton too. That's nice. Not an actual Lisp, just the easiest analogy. Okay. Let's heat all homes. Oh shoot, I forgot to re-expand that after. Yeah, Steam level 2. Or no, Steam level 1, but range setting 2. That's what I meant to do. Okay. And those are all nice and toasty. Oh, hi, Ron.
How's it going? I just got here. Have you been dying much?
No dying. No dying in this game.
No.
I know, very disappointing.
What's with this pacifism stuff? Golly.
Bunch of
You're gonna have to
losers.
get more meat in your diet or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm driving, so I can't watch. What's the spiel today?
So the spiel today is talking about invitational versus obscurant shibboleths.
Can you just find that last word?
Shibboleth?
Yeah.
Words that are used to denote membership in one group or another.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm surprised you don't know that. It's a Jewish
Well,
word originally.
I know. The
Or do
source
you do
of
know
my
that and you want
brain.
me to clarify it? You
Yeah.
define for the
It's
audience.
Yeah, I'm like, what Vervakiism am I needing to recall now? But
Mm-hmm.
okay, so would it be fair to say almost like virtue signaling, or is it just like okay?
It's not so much like virtue signaling. It's more how to describe.
Gang and group and in and out.
Like, do you know the password? But
Yeah.
like the password is just knowing that there's a particular word that we would use to refer to a particular thing.
Right. Okay. You're optimal gripping it.
Yes, optimal grip would be a shibboleth.
Yep. Gotcha. Okay, so and you had what was the two options for shibbolething?
Invitational versus obscurant, or obscurantist.
And the invitational, I kind of get. Obscurant? What would that be? Like someone who's
Something that is
shade?
hiding away.
Yeah. All right. So, what you got to say about this, and what do you? What? Why is this on your mind?
So this is on my
kind-
mind because I had a conversation with Ethan Kohi over
Yeah.
a couple of, like, originally starting on a YouTube thread and then migrating out from there. And it was fun for me and maybe a little frustrating for him because I was pointing to certain things with not like code words, but definitely how do I explain?
Veiled?
Not veil. Like, this is the thing. I was being pretty deliberate to use words that if he were to use those words as search terms in Google, he would very easily find what it was that I was referring to.
Oh.
And I,
Oh, wow.
because like that, like I said, it drives me nuts when people are using shibboleths as a way of like excluding or identifying out groups. Like it makes me absolutely nuts when people do that. So what I've tried to learn how to do is like you still need to be able to use technical language. You still need to be able to refer to things like there's a certain efficiency that comes with being able to say this word refers to this thing. But at the same time, there's a way of doing that where you are just trying to frustrate the person versus frustrating them because they don't know what it is that you're referring to, but doing so in a way that they can get themselves up to speed if they just search for the stuff that you're giving them.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. Do you have an example of one of those words that you used with Ethan?
Oh, let me just pull up the thread real quick, or not the thread, but like the messages I was going back and forth with him. Come on. It was over Signal, I think. Okay, so oh, that's right. So I was talking with him about something, and then one of the things that I brought up was the idea, or not the idea. So in League of Legends, you can do. Oh, hi, Chris. Welcome. In League of Legends, you can use pings to communicate with your allies, as far as like, hey, there's an enemy coming here, or hey, I'm moving in this direction, or hey, I want for us to group up and take this thing. And so you have a way of non-verbally and non-textually communicating with other people. And it turns out that gamers are naughty, and they like to say mean things to each other sometimes.
Yeah.
And so people were using... so there's a concept in League called baiting, where you have somebody who... How do I explain this? Also, is this not... No, it's not. Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. Why can't you just expand it? Could I...
I just want to protest because it's no fun if you're not going to die. I am officially filing a
filing a complaint. God bless.
I enjoy talking with you, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm. But
if you're not going to die, we got a problem. But continue. All right, with your shibboleth.
But continue anyway.
Yes.
So in League of Legends, you, like, if I step forward and I invite the opponent to try and kill me, but I do so when there's another person close by who can step in and help me and potentially kill the other person with me, I am baiting them into attacking me.
Okay.
And so they League. The game wanted to encourage people to actually be able to communicate that to fellow players, and so they made a ping for it because they wanted to add a whole bunch of pings to the game. And the ping was like a little fishhook. And gamers are naughty, and they saw that the fishhook looked enough like a noose that they could use that to ping at people and tell them to keep themselves safe. To kill themselves, if that wasn't clear.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So...
And the company obviously was not a fan of this, and so they took away the ping and said that it was due to low usage. And the joke in the community was that, well, it's not that it wasn't being used, it's just that it wasn't being used in a way that the company appreciated.
Right. No, I got you there. So would it be fair to say a shibboleth would be slang?
Slang functions as a shibboleth, yes.
Okay. All right, and so you have veiled, and then is it invitational? I forget. I'm driving it. I forgot the two.
I said obscurant and invitational, but veiled also works in place of obscurant.
Okay, so those are two different things then. One's being shady and one's inviting conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in the video game and you want to win, if you can get your team to have a slang that the other guys don't know.
Well, it's not so much that you're trying to exclude the other person. It's more that, how do I explain this? There are certain words and terms, like LOL, for instance. Like that was a shibboleth in the time of the early internet, because if you weren't keyed into the fact that that means laughing out loud, then you wouldn't know. But the reason that that was originally created was just as a shorter way of saying laughing out loud, because people wanted a way of communicating that. And so it's not so much that it's born out of an inherent desire to obscure or have a password or in-group out-group people. It's more that it is a natural consequence where people want to communicate something in a certain way, and then as a consequence of that, they figure out, oh, I can say this in this way, and that's a better way of saying it, and then that morphs into this this way of like determining whether somebody's in the in-group or the out-group. Does that make more sense?
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, that sounds like teenage slang.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're hip, or if you don't know.
Yeah. Are you hip? Are you one of the cool kids?
Yeah, exactly. Even the word hip
Mm-hmm.
in itself says that I'm not in the group.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what? So, all right. So you don't like it. That's interesting. So, it seems like you're always going to have that, though.
You are, but there's like people will sometimes have it in such a way where they are deliberately speaking in a way to exclude others versus include others.
Okay.
That's more what my concern is.
Oh yeah, no, well, like if you hear someone saying back in the day it was like Popo or 5-0.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back in high school there was a band called Jay Giles in our area,
Mm-hmm.
and whenever someone said Jay Giles, that means put all the cigarettes out. A teacher's coming.
Mm-hmm.
They just heard the band name.
Yep.
So, in some, like if you're an oppressed group, or maybe not oppressed, but you're just either shady or not in power as you'd want.
Mm-hmm.
If you can communicate better than the opposing team,
Mm-hmm.
You can win.
It's the fuzz. Cheese it.
What?
Skank in the chat was like, it's the fuzz. Cheese it.
Oh, nice. I never heard that one.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 5-0, Oppo,
Mm-hmm.
or someone would go whoop whoop, and Jay Giles, but that was smoking in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Teacher coming.
Yeah,
No, so that's.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Oh, I was gonna go to something else, but you first.
Well, it's like, but now what's the flip side? Because it's easy to say how, like, it's the fuzz, split, like,
Mm-hmm.
man, in a couple hundred years, maybe in a couple decades, they're going to be like, what were they saying?
What are these words that you're saying?
Yeah. And then it gets stupid. You know what I wanted? I wanted to shoot I wanted to shoot some dictionary or beat someone with a dictionary when I heard Gucci. I'm like, I really wanted to get violent. I'm like, and I'm not a word Nazi, a grammar Nazi. When I heard Gucci, I'm like, okay, things are getting stupid.
Nope, we're done. Stop it. Get some help.
I mean, it was like just words were changing so fast. Like, oh no, that worked out. Now it's this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I wanted to be violent, verbally violent, against just whoever was perpetrating this mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
But I blame the fall and the forbidden fruit and Babel and Apple and MTV.
Mm-hmm.
I think it all started with MTV. The homogenization and lowering the bar of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think MTV did for the intellectual and sociological communities what barbed wire did for the West. It just divided and so in that I'd say kill your TV. So I remember that was popular too for a while. But now we have it in our hands. So anyhow, that was me having fun.
Mm-hmm.
So where are you at now with all this and your musings? Oh, because I was going to go down instead of blackpilling it. How is it? How can it be invitational?
Mhm. Well, before I go there, I do want to hear from Chris if he
Oh,
has
yeah.
any comments or thoughts, because he's been sitting quietly for a little while.
Oh, true. Hi, Chris.
We cannot hear
Speak
you if
now.
you are talking, Chris. I saw you came off mute, but we cannot hear you.
Speak. We summon you. Can you summon someone who's alive?
I mean, isn't that what a phone call is? Or a literal court summons?
Summoning. No, actually, I like the darker connotation of summoning.
Mm.
It's like if I go McMo.
No, Kierkegaard. Come
on,
on, Ron.
Oh, Kierkegaard! I'm going to raise Kierkegaard from the dead.
No, you're not. No, you're raising McMo from the
No,
digital dead.
I just raised Kierkegaard because I called him McMo.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that ought to be interesting.
Oh, it's
Or
like
else
it's a switch between the two.
Yeah. No, Kierkegaard's going to show up to McMo.
Oh my gosh.
You'll like that. So, oh my gosh. All right, who's online? We need to get someone to use their microphone. I'm jabbering.
No, you're fine.
Okay, that was kind of entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
McMo.
We're buying time for Chris to figure out his setup right now. I think
Chris, push the button.
you can do it. Chris.
Push the red shiny button. So hey, how was your? And I don't want to totally derail stuff because we are waiting on Chris. But how's your mead?
I just got something from a friend that is hopefully going to restart it because it's been bubbling but very slowly, and so the hope is that it'll actually like get going properly now.
What did you get to fix it? Different yeast? Or
not different yeast, but different. What's it called? There's like a nutrient.
Oh yeah,
booster
yeah.
thing that you can get for it.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Let me think. Yeast does it. That's interesting. I didn't know nutrient could kickstart it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like a phosphorus and some vitamin mineral stuff, and it'll get going that way.
Right, but it is still cooking.
Yeah, no, it's still going.
All right, cool. I got a little gizmo. It was a $7 glass apparatus. It looks like a pen almost.
Mm-hmm.
And you put a few drops of whatever brew you've got, and you let it kind of filter through it. It almost looks like a thermometer. And it's hollow all the way through, but very, very thin. Mm-hmm. And on the third drop, you turn it upside down, and then the liquid will flow back, but somehow the viscosity of...
1, 2, 3.
Hey!
Oh, yeah, there it is. Go for it. We can... Houston,
Chris,
can
we have contact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you were finished up about your mead. If you're done with your mead, I'll talk then.
Oh, yeah. I'll catch up on this, and we're just shooting the breeze.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to say, I was interested in the invitational part. So you have to, it seems to me like you have to drop some breadcrumbs or something to say this isn't just hidden, but it's accessible. And so, like, the most direct way I can think of that would be like a hyperlink where it's blue and it's like there's this word and I don't understand, but I know how to find out.
Yep.
And it gives me means to do that.
Yes.
I don't know how to do that verbally, but hyperlink.
So one of the ways
like
to do that, like in the context that you're talking, is that you deliberately give context clues, like rather than just using the word completely out of context and in a way that the person's not going to be able to pick up on what it means. You say it, knowing that they might not know what it is that you're talking about. You say the word in a context where they can actually start to pick up on what the word is meant to mean.
Can you give an example?
Let me think here.
thinking like maybe you could, if you were like quoting from a movie, you could say, it's working, it's working. You could say it in a way with your voice that means
Yes,
this is
yep, that's one way to do
highlighted.
it. Yep.
Okay, I'll be back.
The way that I was thinking was more like, all right, so we're gonna, I need to issue a warno. Like, I need to give you a heads up about what we're about to do. Right? Like, that doesn't necessarily tell you that warno is short for warning order, but that does at least let you know. And you don't want to do that when you're potentially going to be insulting somebody's intelligence or awareness of whatever it is. But that also kind of gives you an out. Like, if somebody does already know what it is that you're talking about, that you're not insulting them, you're not insulting their intelligence.
So there's enough of a clue. Okay. Yeah.
Like, you're deliberately including a context clue if you don't know if the person's actually familiar with
Oh,
whatever it is
okay.
that you're trying to communicate to them.
Okay. That's interesting. It's almost like etymology. Like if you give them enough of a root clue to the word, and
it's just making sure that you give, like, you're not just using the word in a way that does not also give it context. Like, that's the biggest part of it, because it's super easy to just carelessly use words in ways that people who are not familiar with them are not going to understand. Like, and then another part of that too is just like paying attention to when somebody has like a confused look on their face, right? Like, it's like,
right,
and not getting mad at or thinking less of somebody just for not being familiar with whatever it is. Like, if somebody came into TLC space and you just started saying stuff like, remember, Embody, there is no agency. Howdy, Foxman.
Right.
Like, they're not going to know what the heck you're talking about, and they're just going to feel like you're trying to deliberately, like, keep them out of whatever it is that you're doing. Even if you're not. Even if that's not what the intention is, like, that's what you're going to communicate to them by doing that. So, better to avoid that when possible. And the thing is too that I know that me saying that is there's some deep instinct that humans seem to have where they are supposed to make sure that they know who's in group, out group. Oh gosh, do you think love can bloom even on a battlefield? Get out of here, Noah. Get out of here. Like,
what would you call that kind of hint where it's kind of stilted speech, and so it makes me think, oh, that's from something. I should know that that's something I should look up. Is there a name for that kind of a thing?
well, that's with like a specific like tonal shift. I don't know, actually. Like a tonal shift to indicate the existence of a shibboleth.
You quoted what he wrote, and I'm thinking that doesn't really fit in the context, and so that means it's making reference to something.
Yes.
But it's got a different. It's a little package. It's a little package of something, and
Yes.
I could go look it up. We need to make up a name for that.
Well, there might already be a name for it, but I don't know what it is if there is one.
I don't either.
Yeah, mostly just, I don't know, the main point of this was just to try and make people aware of the fact that this is something that does happen, and yeah, I don't know.
So does eventually does it become a normalized word after time? Like it just gets
Yes.
absorbed in. Okay.
Well, it can. Like there is sort of this power of Tower of Babel competing things where it's like there's more language that's constantly being developed. Like there's tons of specialized language that I could go into for something like EVE Online. That like names of ships, different strategies and tactics, different types of modules. Like even the word module in that context is kind of a shibboleth because like there's the general sense of what the word module is, but then there's also the particular usage of the word module in reference to that game. And so, like, I actually wrote a short story, or kind of like not a short story so much as just like an alternate canon version of the Tower of Babel story, where it's just like the inability to communicate was just a function of the specialization of the people who were working on the tower.
Oh, kind of like AI, huh?
How do you mean?
No, we built something. We know how it works. We can't explain it to you. And there you go. You have your separation. You know, there you have your wizard. You have your wizards, your magicians, and your farmers. So, the wizards and magicians can talk to each other, but
not anybody else.
Farmers, not.
Yeah.
Right.
Howdy, Noah.
Mr. President.
Mr. President, get down.
Get down, get down.
Get off my plane, he says.
So what was, because you had kind of described what you're talking about, why you wanted to talk about this, so, but how do you get invitational shibboleths?
So part of it is getting the other person to be willing to do that research. And like, there's also a certain aspect of it where it is actually going to be faster and better if the person does like start looking into it for themselves. And so it's not, you can't just do all the work for them. You can't just, oh, and Matt's in here too. Howdy, Matt.
What's up?
Too much. But yeah, you can't do all the work for them. They have to take some initiative. And so it's kind of this playful, how do I give them enough to kind of get them in the door without taking away their sort of responsibility of actually learning like what the shibboleth is and how to properly use it.
Something almost like initiatory about that.
Yes.
So like there's times where you're intentionally creating obscure language, like
Yes.
which is you're doing even.
Yep.
You can find this, but it's sort of, I mean, almost like kind of like Jesus with parables. Like the meaning is not clear. The purpose is to get you to struggle with the language.
Yep.
And either just slowly pick up context or do some digging on your own.
Yep.
And the closest clear example in my mind is PVK video titles.
Yep. 100%. Because if you're in TLC, you know what he's talking about. And you also know that there's probably not anybody else outside of TLC who's going to have a freaking clue what he's talking about.
I also support like new waves of TLC. Just be like, yeah, I refuse to learn half of this language, but I'm still gonna play.
Well, that's the thing too with technical language is like, is it actually serving a useful purpose, or does it just exist as a gatekeeping password? Or dropping Metal Gear quips and seeing who notices.
How I find my friends, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and another one is wearing band T-shirts and just refusing to explain. Like, I'm not there to evangelize for bands that I love. I'm here to find people that already know who I'm listening to. Which I think got me a decent rebate on some recent electric work I had done. My electrician walked in. He was like, "Oh shit, cat fight." Dude, we probably saw each other in the pit.
That's great.
God.
But yeah, it's, you know who your people are then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, Chris is commenting that guy at his work had a Bill Murray t-shirt on, which he only knows because of Chad, but... Yeah, and then one last thing as far as like how to be invitational with it, and it gave me some joy, but I also understand his frustration of like the way that I was trying to give hints to Ethan was with more specialized words.
Oh,
Which was driving him nuts. It's like, I'll give you a hint, but you're gonna have to look up something at some point.
but did he know what you were doing, and did he agree to the torment?
This is a PvP server, sir.
Oh, oh, really? So that's how we play now, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Okay.
how we play.
Now, all right, and we got to call the boys and load up the truck. We got to straighten some things up.
But yeah, that's but there's ways of doing that are going to be more deliberately frustrating to somebody versus trying to give them like that's the thing that I'm trying to get at though, is like how do you do it in a way that is invitational versus trying to keep them out? Because I want Ethan to learn about these things. I want him to become familiar with them because I think that they're useful concepts. Like Noah, you just mentioned PVK stream titles, but I think that maybe I have him beat. Like I have some pretty esoteric things that I want to talk about with that I have to explain every word in the title sometimes, and it's like, oh, yeah, this is kind of out there. But I think it's worthwhile to understand. So
I think it would go down. It's like it always goes down, like almost to like some sort of faith level, like good faith.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell when someone has a desire for a good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's frustrating, but you know eventually it's going to be fruitful.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it worth the effort
Mm-hmm.
of going through whatever pain, learning curve.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you don't want to throw too much up. Oh, so good.
I was just, bringing in the idea of sort of like optimal grip, where like you're kind of, sometimes you're intentionally obscuring the language in order to force them to kind of contort their mind a little bit to become a better player in the kind of conversation you're trying to have. That's sort of the function of like technical language.
Yes.
Like once you are initiated into guild speak, then we can converse more efficiently and go much deeper.
Yeah, and that was actually something that came up in our estuary on Tuesday, was this notion of like you can communicate to a certain extent procedural or participatory understanding, but generally speaking, just like doing the thing or participating in the thing is going to be a way more efficient way of transmitting that information than trying to explain it propositionally.
You have more faith in that than I do. Like there's an extent where language fails with procedural.
Yep. Like you actually have to do the thing, or yeah,
you have to embody it.
Like riding a bike. Okay.
Yes, 1000%. That's the benchmark example of procedural knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Can't read a book and ride a bike.
Right.
There's just too many things going on there, and too many things that your brain will automatically do for you if you just give it a shot. But you have to actually hop on the bike rather than just looking at a book.
Mm-hmm.
I would say another big one example for that is knot tying. Howdy,
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Because like there's
also balloon animals.
Also balloon animals. Yes. Well, and the idea is that
that's why YouTube is so interesting, because it's more than anything, it's a phenomenal procedural knowledge transmitter.
Because you can actually watch somebody else doing the thing and then do it yourself, rather than having to be reliant on just a reading explanation of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think of what it's done for like home auto repair.
Home auto repair, like
all of it,
all sorts of like tons of stuff that would have been taught in home economics previously that just has fallen off. Like, oh my gosh, it's a huge boon for that.
Yeah, and again, it fell off because we kind of got addicted to propositional knowledge as the only definition of knowledge.
Well, I think also just
you can get kind of down the road with written explanation. But it takes fancier kind of writing to get there.
Well, I mean, we talked about this in Estuary too. There was the guy who had done had to do some electrical work that he just had no experience with before, and he's able to do it based off of propositional knowledge and research alone. But it was an obscene amount of time compared to having a skilled person to kind of walk him through the process.
Yep.
Like, he got it done.
Yeah.
But it was like 20, 30 hours of research.
Yeah. Like reading an old recipe book or something where the language isn't very helpful and yeah, it gets really hard. So there gets to be, like in a recipe book or car repair manual, there gets to be a kind of tiltedness to what they do and a pattern to it. So then you get more information than just the words themselves by the way they put it together.
Well, and the fun thing with that too is that if they can consistently do the pattern, then what ends up happening is you can deduce more out of it because you know how the pattern exacts onto the actual physical thing.
Right. Once you start using it and you get a feel for how they're communicating. Yeah.
You say, oh, I'm going to expect that this part of the manual is going to have this, and then this part of the manual is going to have this, and then this part of the manual is going to have this.
Right.
Also, Ron's saying dude in chat. What's up, Ron?
He just says dude every once in a while.
I do. I was saying hello to Marquette.
Oh, that dude. Okay.
Dude. I don't. Yeah, that's it. It's not gender specific.
Nope.
And it's a greeting in all languages and all genders. For all genders, it's no matter what your political ideology is, dude.
Dude.
And usually well received.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of a neutral, happy thing.
I think it can bring peace to the world in one area of conflict.
I fully agree with you. But that was a process, because dudettes, the feminine version of dude, has completely fallen off.
Right. I hear girls calling each other dudes all the time. And I feel proud and bad because I know I'm part of that movement to do this. I'm not saying I'm patient zero, but I'm like, it's like, what's your pronoun, dude? See, it worked.
My pronouns are dude and brah.
Brah. Now,
what's up?
That's very personal. That's brah. Oh, brah. Yeah. All right.
Well, I feel like with the youngsters, brah
I'll be back.
has kind
behave.
of gotten pretty close to. Pants are coming off, guys. Here we go. No, they're not. I'm gonna bust up right now.
What are you talking about?
The boss is gone. It's time to get frisky.
Can't tell you not to
It's
do
fun.
something. Now's your time.
Right. Yeah. You're
What
in
do you
Washington
in the
State.
chat? What else can we do to get this thing demonetized? Should we talk about vaccines?
Well, what else? What are the hot button issues that get you canceled nowadays? Like, the vaccine's not so nuclear anymore.
Yeah, we're not gonna. That was a joke. We're not actually gonna talk about or say that word anymore. We'll be nice.
Right.
Hey, we're back.
Yeah.
So, what are the shibboleths of the TLC?
All the
Personal,
Verbaki
so-
terms.
God
The
number one,
5
God number
Ps.
2.
I mean, there's Verbaki shibboleths. There's Peugeot shibboleths.
Yep.
It's not just one category.
PBK makes up his own metagelical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Although those are, I mean, those are in group language. They're not quite shibboleth.
Yeah.
I was wondering, because then you have grimisms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a shorthand. I can see
I mean,
the.
it's kind of crazy how many different spheres with their own distinct language sets all are kind of hanging out together.
We talked about the context of the original shibboleth story.
Oh, please.
A little bit. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I
I was vaguely
what
aware of it, but go for it.
Well, I mean, part of it was that it was a word that like the local in-group pronounced a particular way, and that if you asked somebody to pronounce it who was outside of the group, you could tell, you know, with their accent that they were not part of your in-group.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
I got a
And there was a
funny
time when those two tribes were at war with one another, and so one of them seized the ford, so the only bridge across the water, and everyone who wanted to cross the water, you had to make them say say the word shibboleth, and if you pronounce shibboleth, you got your head cut off.
Oh, wow. Is that it? That is so cool. I vaguely remember that. That's
Yeah,
something.
that's judges. It's Jephthah.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you. Wow, I haven't thought about that one in a long time.
Well, it's
That's
featured
cool.
in an episode of West Wing. That's one of the ways I remember it.
How'd they use it there?
Oh, it's about
you just lost some
immigration.
public base points right there, buddy.
It's about immigration of Christians from like China.
Okay. Wow, that's deeper than I
There
expected.
was something. It was something along the lines of the plot of the episode was there were a group of Chinese people who were claiming asylum from China for persecution,
Right.
and they weren't certain if they were actually Christian or not.
Uh-huh.
And the whole episode, the president's like, "Oh man, like I wish there was like shibboleth or something we could use just to like make this very clear." And then in the conversation about, you know, with the guy who leads that group, he mentions the word shibboleth, and that was enough for him or something like that.
Oh, that's funny. Huh. Okay. Well, that's fun. All right, not bad. Good script writing, actually.
I remember this one Tom Clancy book where it's this Chinese pastor who went to America to get his education, but he went to Bible college in like Oxford, Mississippi, and so he's this like native Chinese guy who spoke with like a deep Mississippi Southern drawl.
That reminds me of the that video I found of the woman from China who moved to Louisiana, and so she has that like half Louisiana, half Chinese accent. It's just amazing.
Dude, that
Old
would be
Newton
awesome.
Creole.
Also, Ups is pointing out in the comments when Rick Walker had a rando with PVK, name dropped Grizz during the Friday live stream, but then Grizz came on and asked Rick to tell the audience for their choices for savings throws, and I want to say he said he was going to choose mind control.
Yeah, he said I'll choose mind control.
You failed your shibboleth check right there.
You didn't just fail the saving throw. You failed the shibboleth test too.
I choose mind control. Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a testament to how important we are, the quality of fed we get.
Mm-hmm. I think we have some pretty high quality feds, so that's a good indicator, right? And then
I will say more and more of my friends are becoming feds, and
are becoming like joining the federal government.
Yes, in different capacities.
That's funny. And then Dan Grizz has this funny dichotomy of ultra high density content embedded in low density chaos space. It's like fishing where you never know when you're going to catch a big one. You just gotta wait. Is a Grizz stream a gachapon? Is that what we just discovered?
What's a
Just got a
gachapon?
5-star.
Is that like a monkey paw?
Okay, so there's another shibboleth. So gachapon is a type of like gambling game, really popular over in Japan and China and Korea. But the Japanese word for it is gachapon, and it originates from these little like capsule things. So you probably have seen them in the mall before. Like you put a quarter in and then you turn it and then you get like a random capsule out of it.
Yeah, like a little toy or something.
Yeah. And so that's gachapon. But then that gets exapted into a whole bunch of like games in particular where like the loot crate system that's also kind of gachapon-ish. And so you have this setup where kids are being taught how to appreciate gambling from an early age.
Wow. Oh, all right.
And they're called gacha games more generally, but that's like the etymological or origin of it.
There's phase 1 to get them ready to comprehend Mr. Beast drops.
Oh gosh.
Oh no.
No.
I gotta look up a video for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
This guy called The Real Fake Wizard. And he's a gamer. A brilliant guy. He's, your age, half, and kind of hilarious and sarcastic. And he just did, I think, a 1-hour video about how Epstein and the gaming gods created online gambling for kids. They're little, and it really, what it was is grooming for gambling. It's when you started to buy the specialized armor, and you could buy upgrades instead of playing the game. You could just buy your way into.
Yep, pay to win instead of free to play. Yep.
Yeah, and then they said that there's these other little boxes, and I'm trying to look up the video right now. But basically, I'm sorry?
Loot crates?
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Yeah, that's what we were trying to talk about before.
Oh,
Yep.
That's grooming for gambling.
Yep.
I mean, okay. Straight evil.
Yep.
Straight.
100%
Wow.
agreed. And also, there's seemingly no way that we're going to be able to stop it.
Well, it's a machine. And the machine wants what it wants, and it gets what it gets.
Takes what it wants.
And it doesn't get upset.
Well, it might get upset, but it gets what it gets.
Okay, it gets what, and so
Takes what it wants, gets what it gets.
That's where, it's sort of parasitic off of, again, like, older parental wisdom about gratitude. So it's like, you get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit.
Huh.
It's like, yeah, that's one way to respond to kind of like normal kind of providential happenstance, but
Hmm.
it's a whole different thing when that's your response to being initiated into a casino, where like
Well,
be grateful for the people that are constantly running the tables on you.
well, you kind of have to be grateful to the people running the tables though, because that's like there's ways of encouraging them to do things that will let you win at the expense of the house. But that's another one of those like shibboleth heavy things where they have to kind of know and be able to trust that you're somebody who they can do that with, and that you'll tip them well at the end, and that you're not going to get caught or have issues. Let's see what the chat's saying.
Is it my imagination, or does it seem like there's more evil things that are outside of our ability to like make laws and rules to round them up? Does that seem like that's increasing to you over, I don't know, the lifetime of the internet in particular? But I think even of things like spam telephone calls and things like that, where it's just like nobody is able to capture that, or they refuse to, or something. It just can't be done.
Well, the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand, and that they're going to have to begin to understand more and more, is that power is not what they were told it was. Power is always a negotiated construct. Like you don't get to be able to tell somebody what to do just like arbitrarily. It's always a matter of what are the incentive structures around it, what are the consequences, what are the shared motivations aligned between people, different groups of people. Like, that is always what is at play. And people generally, like, it's just not something that gets taught or is understood, and honestly, it's a little bit dangerous, especially at younger ages, to be teaching that, because a lot of times people, when they first learn that, will go the, like, super Machiavellian or, like, taking advantage of other people route with it. And so you don't necessarily want to clue in elementary schoolers on, oh yeah, you can just rebel against your teacher because they can't actually tell you what to do. Like, that's probably not a good way of approaching that.
No.
But
well, that would be
the first time you're kind of thrown into
chaos.
Mm-hmm. Like, Matt, how much worse would it have been for you if, or they kind of were realizing that at the time, I guess, right? Like when they're coming into middle school.
Middle school, so they are. That's the part where they don't need to like figure it on their own. They're starting to recognize and discover the lines aren't what they were told the lines are.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I mean, like school is just kind of like the first big place where you're thrown into a situation where you're thrown into like a machine that has its own consumptive logic that does not correlate completely with the story that you're told about what your education is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first, I mean, to pull up the Peugeot story about like Jack and the Beanstalk, where you have like, which is the story that he really unlocked this point in a way that I really like. It's just helping kids to recognize that like you are going to be subjected to bosses that are, if you let them, going to entirely consume you.
Yep.
So you have to take the mindset of a kind of like virtuous thief who has to be crafty like a snake in order to get the goods from them in a way that benefits you. Because if you play the game according to your overlord's rules, you're going to get chewed up and spit out.
Well, and the funny part is, you sometimes have to cheat them in order to do things that benefit them. If you value, like, if they are like Osiris to you, where they are a good king but a foolish one, like, you actually, like, especially like my perennial complaint is the way that we do time management around engineering products. And basically the only way to get time to work on longer term projects is to basically steal it from active projects. Like, you have to lie about what you're spending your time on and say, oh, I'm totally spending like I'm working the full thing with this project, even though you got it done a couple of days ago, and you're spending that time on things that are going to be optimizations that will help further down the road. Because the overhead charge that you would have to incur for that is just not something that management is willing to incur under that. So you have to lie to them about what you're doing in order to do something that's actually beneficial for them too. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then Dan from the comments was listening to podcasts talking about evil exploitative gambling, and the commercials in between segments are for Chumba Casino. That's awesome. And then Mark S. Bill Clinton is calling for full release of the files like a true nobleman. Yeah.
What?
I mean,
So
you're gonna die soon. You
frustrating.
might as well try and.
Like
Feels like a Jesus like dishonest steward. The end of your life, and you're like, well, maybe it's time for me to beg, borrow, and steal my way into the kingdom of light.
I think the tough part with hearing so many people like call for the release of stuff is that, well, especially him, is that theoretically he knows already, so he could just say stuff.
Yep.
You know. And somebody could accuse him of, slander or something, but there is some proof that needs to be involved in that, and yeah.
But also, how much of that is just what's the word? Virtue signaling on his part.
No,
He
yeah,
knows that
that's
there's
Right.
nothing that's actually going to
Calling
happen.
for the release of things that are never going to get released.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's all just a game.
To be
As
on
long
the
as he's
right
not, saying what he already knows.
Well, it's frustrating too, because it's very clearly not a partisan thing. Like, it's very clear that everyone's hands have been in the cookie jar on this one, and it's frustrating to see people who are more lefty-leaning and more like Fox News dads, like, saying, "Oh my gosh, can you believe that Bill Clinton did this?" Or that, like, Trump said that. It's like, no, I can believe all of it, because they're all dirty, and stop trying to make this about one or the other. Like, this is not... it's frustrating.
Pajot actually
Had the same sentiment, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I actually like that quite a bit. So, anyhow, I got some thoughts on my mind, but
Shoot.
now it's a total gear shift. Because I have some friends in the Middle East. Actually, we all do. Like, you got Hezi and Yosef, and I got some friends in Iran. Actually, one of my friends, their family's there. And actually, it's funny. Like, this is straight from the horse's mouth. A lot of people are celebrating the airstrike.
Yeah.
Like, they are straight up absolutely happy. And I won't use her name or anything like that, but I was like, okay, this is... I was a kid when the Shah, the Ayatollah, the first Ayatollah took over, and when the Shah got deposed. And I feel like there's something... It's almost like a reversal. Like, after... Well, this started back in 80. So we're looking at just about 50 years. And so there's another... Things are... It's like the Epstein files are just... they're like smoke and mirrors. Like, okay, I don't think anything's going to happen from this. But when when there are rockets flying, okay, that's... Rockets flying from... What's that?
That's kinetic.
Yeah, exactly. That you can measure that.
Yep.
Like that's touching grass in a bad way, but it's touching grass.
Yep.
The grass touches you.
Well,
Jeez.
pretty much as it's on fire. So,
In Soviet Russia, grass touch you.
well, yeah,
It's all concrete in
grass
Soviet
touch
Russia. Come on.
you. Right. Okay. So I didn't know what you thought. There's gonna be a shift, or there is. I hope it's for the better. Been praying. I just don't know.
I just am tired of, like, I don't believe that Iran is anywhere near a nuclear weapon, and the fact that that is what is continuing to be the stated reason or excuse for why we are engaging with them is very frustrating to me.
I don't think it's news.
No.
There's something else going on. And
There is, and it's not something that I really. I don't want to get banned, guys. I don't want to get banned.
No. Use your shibboleth.
Legit, man.
Shibboleth it.
Mm,
Shibble.
I'm gonna.
It's oil.
I'm gonna pass on this one, guys. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
You can go on Twitter and you can see plenty of stuff about what people are saying about what seems to ostensibly be the reason, both explicitly stated by some of the actors that's just not as much emphasized by mainstream media, and then other things that are left unsaid generally but are still there.
That's reasonable. Look, this is an estuary moment. I brought up a topic. We're pointing.
Mhm.
You're passing. That's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
There's Marquez.
Oh, Marcus joined. Hello.
So there were enough viewers for me to join. I only joined.
How many
when
am I
there
at
was-
now?
You were at 50 plus I looked.
Okay.
So that's my minimum.
Okay.
You know.
Marcus
I'm-
only
I'm
participates in,
kidding.
like, gotta get to a certain threshold.
I'm kidding. Kidding. No, I didn't want to steer that conversation into partisan political things. I just haven't. I don't talk about it.
Mhm.
When I said he's a true nobleman, I hate to say I'm joking, but sometimes I feel like I have to.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I thought it was hilarious when he was going on. He's going for a full release,
Mhm.
you know, because, in my opinion, the people who are in the files are the same people releasing them, and it's all like
Yeah.
Ron said, smoke and mirrors.
Yep.
But I'm sorry for even directing the conversation in that way. I can't control my.
I think that it's just one of those, like, we're gonna have to talk about it to some degree. Like, we don't need to stay on it, but leaving it unaddressed
Yeah.
is also unwise in its own way. So I don't mind.
It's kind of funny because it's like so now today it's Iran. Epstein is like last century. It doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in Iran. We're at war, I guess. It's like a video game. It's like there's no difference between watching me or me watching you play this video game and us being at war with Iran.
Yeah.
It's like okay, sure. So stuff is blowing up. I guess it might be AI. I don't know, but
like, for the level of connectivity that you have to the events, like, yeah.
At least with the
Yeah,
stream,
and
you can get AF to mess up, maybe.
No.
that's true. He'll listen to me if I try to tell him like, hey, maybe it's not. That's true. That's true. I am. This is more real for me than the war in Iraq.
Well, and this goes out to the to all the lurkers in the stream, by the way. We see you. We see the view count. Like, a big part of what we try and do here is encourage people to do what we call breaking the fourth wall. So that means, like, not just interacting with people as you typically see with a lot of streamers, where you're just standing for or putting on a pedestal. Like, the goal is that you participate in a way that you become a real person to us. Like, we want that. We want to hear from you. and not just in like an exploitative way, but in a like, it's one of those things where you'll just have to trust us and give it a shot, and then see how things go from there. But yeah,
we're Jordan Peterson people. We're here to help Pinocchio all you bots into real boys.
Yeah.
And the first step is liking the damn video.
Like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to donate to my... Don't forget to donate to Ko-Fi.
Can you post those anymore? Did they get banned, or what's up with Grim? Because he couldn't.
I don't know what's going on with Grizz. I think you can still pin messages.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
Well, because I was having the same problem he was having with posting the link.
Mm-hmm.
It called it spam, and I'm like, what?
Huh.
Maybe it was just a one-off.
It might just be their filters being a little over-aggressive too, because they are known to have that problem. So.
Okay. Yeah, it passed. So, just saying.
Yeah, Ron, I've had that happen too, where it says my link is spam.
Yeah, just how that goes sometimes. Usually they fix it, but not always. Also, Olson asks, are you still in the snow this weekend? So, it hardly ever snows in the Pacific Northwest, but how are the rest of you guys doing?
Got a couple inches in Wisconsin.
Nice.
Actually, we might be getting. I thought we were going to be getting snow this weekend, but
even more.
So far, it's quite pleasant. Yeah, everything melted. We're not doing too bad. It's just a sweatshirt weather, nothing crazy. So, Mark? What'd you get? A couple of, like 4 inches or something, or less, or more? Or?
Not exactly sure. I would say about 3. I didn't look officially.
All right,
But
so
not
nobody
too
got.
bad.
All right, that's cool.
No, that's like nothing for us.
Right.
That's like salt. What?
Right.
But
oh, I was
got my
walking up.
metaphor.
What's that?
It's like salt over. I forgot my metaphor. I think I took some melatonin because I was going to go to sleep, but then
it's sprinkling.
Got yanked out of these jokers.
I got blackmailed to coming out here.
Blackmailed? By whom? Who's blackmailing you?
I don't know, but just some type of psyops that are going on. I can't explain.
Okay.
Is it a psyop?
For anybody watching, he's here of his own volition.
Right. That's right.
I
agree. Is it a psyop if you know it's a psyop and you flip it?
It's always a psyop, and maybe you flip it, maybe you don't.
Okay. All right.
Like, that's the one thing. Like, people who don't think propaganda works on them are perfect targets for propaganda.
Oh, right. Okay. What if you don't care?
I don't know.
But it's like an aggressive apathy.
Aggressive? Like how you would think about olives if you didn't like olives on your plate?
No. No, I think of the Big Lebowski. Like, you focus on bowling, your friends, and maybe having a White Russian. And then you just, as long as Wu doesn't pee on your rug, you have a good day.
Rug really.
Do I have the Substack article for you?
What's that?
See.
Oh, I wrote a Substack article called "Weaponized Apathy." I think that's what the title is.
Are you serious?
Yep. Well, and I was referencing it
Oh
by
my-
talking about olives, which that would be an
Oh
example
my
of an obscurant shibboleth, by the way. Is like, I'm communicating to Noah that I know, and also to Matt that he knows, but that everybody else in the room wouldn't be aware. And so that's okay, so that's kind of an example of how obscurant shibboleths work, is using a word that is otherwise a normal word that people wouldn't realize from the context was a shibboleth without having already been aware of the fact that it's a shibboleth.
Oh, that was okay. Well,
But like doing so in a way that's deliberately establishing in-group out-group with other people who are here without allowing the ones who are in the out-group to understand that they are
right.
in the out-group.
Outed.
Yep.
They just got outed.
Mm-hmm.
So weaponized. So my joke came to pass. You know, it's okay. That's the dangerous part about me. It's like when I say something stupid, when I think it's like this is going to be funny, they're like, no, actually, that's
That was just mean.
What does this mean?
No, you're just being mean.
Oh, oops.
Now we'll have to use artichokes. Yeah, Dan. We gotta, now that we've established that that's what the shibboleth is, now we gotta shift the shibboleth. We gotta semantic treadmill it.
Now I feel like everything you guys are saying is just secret code language, and all you guys know what you're talking about. And I'm out of it.
I don't, but I don't care.
Ron's just
That's
here
how
for
I
a good
feel
time.
most of the time, anyway.
We speak in thieves' cant. It's like a secret meaning under everything, and you can communicate two things at once.
You know what? Olives, bro. So, you know. Olives.
Also, Spatch has got it. How do you do, fellow kids? But he used the wrong thing, so is there maybe a shibboleth that he's referencing that I'm not aware of, or is he misremembering the shibboleth, and so I know that he's not actually as in meme culture as he's trying to make it out that he is?
But Ron, just to clarify on the apathy thing, the idea of the olive is like, there are things that try to take your attention that you don't like, right? And when you give into it, you're honoring that thing by kind of creating your identity around how much you disagree. And so opening up the door to ignoring something and just letting it kind of roll off your back. And the image I used was of an olive. That I don't like olives, but I don't freak out about olives and scream about them. I just roll them off my plate and just keep eating, because I really don't care.
So how is it weaponized?
Because it can be directed. That there are things that try to get your attention that don't deserve it.
Okay.
I try to stay away from saying saying specific examples, because the examples I have might not be the nicest.
Well, I mean, we're not trying to be mean here, and you are like, I need some edumacation. So
Also, we're buried an hour and a half into a live stream, so this is probably one of the safer places to put it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are people who I encounter on the internet through videos and stuff, and my first reaction is to get mad or to like either comment or something like that. But then on further reflection, the proper reaction is probably just to not give them the attention they're wanting.
Right.
Just leave them be and move on with my day.
Gotcha. Okay. I've learned, I just picked up that practice recently. And it's rare for me to ignore someone. But really, I'm finding out sometimes that's the proper controlled response.
Yep.
Because and then you don't care about it. I think RJ once told me, he's like, we were talking about something, and I'm like, so what do you think about it? He goes, it's a nothing burger. I'm like, ooh, I like that. Okay, so it's an olive. But if I say a nothing burger, then you really understand. Okay.
Nothing well, it's the obscurant kind of piece. Where if you say olive, if you're in on the joke, you understand. If you say nothing burger, it's a little bit more obvious what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's not the same thing either, completely, but that is an element that I think App was getting at earlier with the obscurant shibboleth.
Okay. When you were talking about not teaching kids, well, I'm kind of going backwards in the conversation. I don't think we've moved on a little bit.
A good conversation is one where you don't just explore branches, but you like loop back down the trunk and then go up a different branch, in my opinion. So go for it.
Oh, okay. All right. So, because now I have a lot more context for when you were talking about not teaching kids. I'm trying to remember what you said. It kind of ran
dangerous.
into being.
It's dangerous to let people in on the fact that they have moves available to them that they might spam without fully understanding what exactly it is that is available to them.
Where does the sense of humor fall in with that? Because I think humor, good humor, not just mean humor, runs. For me, for some reason, that comes to my mind. Does that work at all?
It depends, I think.
Well, kids who are smart Alex, but not mean, but they know how to be funny.
Well, and I think that there's a responsibility of communities to sort of train that smart alecky nature into something that is productive too. Because there's definitely a way that like they will step over certain boundaries, and that's to a degree inevitable, like as they're learning where they can go, that they will potentially overstep. And so it's like, how do you they're going to have to overstep in order to learn, but how do you make it so that when they overstep, they don't overstep too far, and that they actually learn from the experience after having done so?
Right. Yeah, okay. Then I'm thinking about culture, your ingrained culture, taboos. You'd almost have to be immersed in it. Well, at least I'm just thinking how you would do it. It'd be the culture you're around. It would be your mom and dad first, your parents, your siblings, then your friends, and then whatever culture you're in the most. Those would be the ones forming you for that. Because I was thinking of it in a positive way. Because some comedy seems to be tugging at the fringes or poking fun at the center from the fringe. Well, actually, I'm trying to think about it. For some reason, just humor and laughter. I don't know. That's because that's the opposite, I think, for me, the opposite of the Machiavellian world. Because I think, like, sociopaths make good Machiavellian. And I would have to say, I think comedy, for me, comedy and empathy kind of run. For me, that they run together. I'd like them to run together. So,
well, the thing about comedy is that it's not funny to just like beat up on somebody. What's funny is to show that you actually have an understanding of who that person is and where they're coming from. And then through that understanding, you're able to poke fun at them, but in a way that shows that you actually do care about them still. Like, that's the main difference, is do you actually care about the person that you're poking at?
Right.
And it usually comes through pretty loud and clear, like whether you do or not.
Well, and I forget who I got this from. Maybe, yeah, it was probably Pajot, but he's like, a good court jester will always make the last joke about himself. You know, so that way nobody's left bleeding. You know, so, but I was thinking about your shibboleths, and it's like a verbal shorthand, in and out, you know, groups, and then I really do like weaponized apathy. That's gonna make me. And I just copied it, so I got to read that later on.
Yeah, no, it's a good article.
Yeah, I think I'm subscribed to Noah's Substack. I'll check that out. I know it's just another. It's just another social media that's gonna go to crap, but there's been some good stuff on Substack lately. It's kind of, I think it's in a good spot, really. But all these things just get ruined. They all go downhill. But right now, I've found some good writers out there. So yeah, I'll check out Noah's Olive.
It's cool. That gives me hope. Weaponized apathy. I found my calling, my position.
Just to stop caring.
Yeah, like Grimm said, he's got the canary in the coal mine protocol, or the canary protocol, like pushing the line as far as you can to see how far you go till you get zapped, and then other people know how far they can go. I'm like, okay, fine, that's you. But I think weaponized apathy, I might be your guy.
Well, I feel like that phrase can go in different directions. Like, if you say that, almost even though I know what we mean in this conversation, what I almost think of is somebody who ought to care, but they're using it negatively, like somebody who thinks they're too cool for something, you know?
Oh, right.
Or somebody who, or like thinks that, or like not caring about someone that maybe would be right to care about, you know? But I don't think that's the way you guys are using it.
This is I'd adjust it to altruistic weaponized apathy.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be what's that in D&D when you have chaotic evil, and then but you have like ultimate
alignments.
Good, or so it's like it's the opposite of chaotic evil.
Lawful good.
So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, like with me, because when I like to go on Twitter a little bit, and when I see these people like being all partisan about every single thing that happens, you know, then I want to like tell them something. Like I want to let them know that they shouldn't care. But then that's hypocritical of me, because why do I care that they care?
Because you care about them. Like, I don't think that that's actually that big of a hypocritical thing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I do feel like if more people were aligned in a better direction, like with their attention, that things might have a better chance.
For sure.
But and people, it's so funny the way people just fall in. It's like people just fall into their rut, you know, on every single thing. but there's weaponized apathy, weaponized apathy. But
Altruistic
then Ron,
weaponized
I don't
apathy.
know.
Just stringing them together.
I don't know about that phrase either, honestly, because I don't know if this positive weaponized apathy is always necessarily for the benefit of others. Sometimes it's good just for us.
Hmm.
You know, like
Go
if
ahead.
I'm just working on something for myself, good, and something wants to take my attention that is told to me that's important, and I'm like, no, I'm just going to forget about that and focus on what I want to focus on, even if it's like reading uh, a good book for myself.
Hmm.
And that I don't know if that's altruistic, but it still is the same concept. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to drill down. I am in favor of definitional uh, exaction.
So here's a question for you. Can you effectively love others if you are at the end of your rope?
Yes. Well,
Can you more effectively love others when you're not at the end of your rope?
I need to apologize because I quickly mouthed off yes. I have a lot of provisions and caveats on that, but I think yes, you can. But
I
what do you
think
guys
you
think?
can. I think you can as well, but I also think that you can better possibly love people when you're not at the end of the rope. And this goes back to, I think this goes back to Skankenstein's quote from Paul's live stream that I caught, where he was talking about um, how the Pharisees were actually more able to be righteous uh, because of their financial ability,
Mm.
you know, and so they felt like they were more moral than like a slave or a low grade worker because he had to like make compromises to survive.
Mm.
So I think that with more resources comes more responsibility. So I think you
Mm-hmm.
could potentially, but look at the richest people on the planet, how they spend their resources, as we're finding out,
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, you materially could love people more, but could you actually willingly do that?
Mm-hmm.
That depends.
Like when you said how did you put it? It was a good question. Can you love people when you are under duress, or how did you put it? I want to get it correct. What was your, can
You
you,
said at the end of your rope.
Go for it, Noah.
I'm sorry?
Oh, Af was saying that can you still love somebody when you're at the end of your rope?
Yeah. Oh, okay. That was okay. The answer
Might
is
have been
yes.
phrased a little bit different, but
That's
No,
all right.
but no, that was it. Yeah, because the end of the rope, it's at the end of your rope thing, and defining love.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to be, like.
No, that's the right track. That's exactly the right track.
Okay. And I will go. Do you want it to be? I can go Bible, Jesus on the cross, or I can do something anecdotal in my own life. Like, if you just want a book answer, it'd be like Jesus on the cross is the example. And well, then there's others. There's Philip, who was stoned, who said, Father, forgive, don't hold this sin against him.
Mm-hmm.
So there are examples of people loving at the end of their lives.
I think that it's, I don't know, there might be a better way to ask the question to kind of get what I think App is trying to talk about, which
Mm-hmm.
is, and this is something that I was running up against when I was writing this, was that people feel like they have to care about everything. And that they have to like hold on to this thing that is out of their control, that's just out there, and they feel like it's not caring to, or not loving to not care about it, or like to not have it be on their minds constantly. And that's different than praying for something, right? Because I think we should be praying, but in praying you are kind of admitting that it's out of your control, that this is in someone else's hands now. And so I just see a lot of people that they, this is always on their minds. Whatever new kind of thing that their political party cares about, that's going to be what they are focused on, even if they can have no impact on it. Even if they don't live 1,000 miles away from where whatever thing is happening.
Right.
And so, in that way, right, like, in holding on to those things, I think that prevents you from being able to love well. Because when you hold on to things that you can't control, it gives you a sensation that you don't have any agency yourself.
Yep. Well, and as a consequence of that,
yeah, go ahead.
Negatively impacting, like, if you don't feel like you have agency, then that means that you're going to be a lot less able to actually use your agency well in the places that you do actually have it.
Yeah.
I think loving well. Okay, so it'd be okay.
Also, do you mind if I interject one other thing?
Yeah.
So the thing I was trying to drive at with the question is that you can absolutely love somebody when you're at the end of your rope. Like a mother who is sleep deprived and is just trying to take care of the infant, and the infant's crying and crying and crying, and it's just driving her slowly insane. Like, she is still able to love that infant with all of the things that are going on. But, and this is like, it's not just about the feeling of love directed towards whatever it is, it's also the deeper outcome that you're trying to aim at through that love. And so, like, if you're trying to raise your kid well, are you going to be better able to raise them if you're taking care of yourself properly, getting enough sleep, getting enough food, or like the child is going to, like, you might still love them the same amount, but the way that you are able to deliver that love is going to be negatively impacted by you not taking care of yourself. That's what I was trying to drive at.
Okay.
Can I throw another angle in too?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, do kids know how they need to be loved accurately all of the time? Does the crying child?
No, they do not.
Because I fully agree with a lot of like philosophers that think that like love is deeply tied to attention, deeply tied to prayer. You're kind of, in practicing any of those things, you're practicing the other two things. But if you are dealing with someone who is addicted to attention, is it loving to enable that addiction by giving them attention exclusively in the way they demand that you give it to them?
That is excellent.
Oh, okay. I can answer that one because if someone's demanding of you inappropriately, like a child, going like they just, that's actually self-centeredness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not loving. And so teaching them that not getting attention all the time is actually the most loving thing you can do for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And
now imagine somebody with those childish impulses but sophisticated verbal skills.
Would you say? You broke up a touch? I caught part of it.
Imagine somebody with that childish impulse driving them, but sophisticated verbal skills.
Mm-hmm.
So demanding is not like screaming and like taking their shirt off on screen or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, they're more. Yeah, there's all sorts of other ways to direct attention that are subtle, sneaky, underhanded.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a lot of ways like the Jesus thing, like know them by their fruits. Notice what happens when we give certain people attention.
Yep.
when they seize momentum in a conversation? Does the conversation flourish under their care?
Well, and one thing that I really want to point out, because it's a pattern that I've seen a couple of times, but certain individuals have a tendency to deliberately say something inflammatory that they know is going to have the person who's in charge of the stream shut down that conversation without giving the opportunity for somebody else to give a rebuttal, because it's not helpful or healthy to continue down that conversation. But that means that that individual then has the opportunity to say their piece without having any actual defense mounted against it. And so there's a really delicate balance to strike there, because you don't actually want to let the stream devolve, but that means that what you should be doing is seeing that pattern in advance and not allowing, cutting them off ahead of time so that you're not allowing them to do that. But that's kind of advanced Dada stuff. I don't know, Luke, if you're watching, that's for you.
Listen, Obi-Wan. Okay, I'm just going to ignore them. I'm going back to the olive thing, I'm going to aggressively... No, but I got you.
That is, I think, the right approach for a lot of it, but there's also... this is a future stream topic, but I'll talk about it a little bit. When you have a community of people, it's actually best for every individual in that community to have slightly different tolerances for different stuff. Because if everyone had the same level of tolerance for a certain kind of misbehavior, then if someone stepped over a particular line, then they're just completely excommunicated from the community immediately. And there might be some lines where that's appropriate to do, but if everybody has a slightly different line, then that gives the individual an opportunity to recognize when they're misbehaving and pissing some people off without being completely cut out from the community right then and there. I think that's actually a really important and healthy thing, is to have people with different tolerances all together.
That describes the corner.
What do you think it is when someone is addicted to attention and you're just giving it to them? On the person who is giving the attention. So what is that? Is that a type of selfishness too?
It depends.
Because there's different ways of being that. We're all addicted to attention to a certain extent. I would have a YouTube channel if you didn't want attention.
Well, it's actually, for me personally, less about the attention aspect of it, and a lot more, there's literally every week I'm giving more stuff that's stuck in my head that I just need to get out of it. That's the thing that's actually the driving thing for me. It's to a degree, yes, the attention is kind of nice, but that's not really the motivating factor for me. There's been... Yeah, but there's been plenty of times where I'm like,
do slander you?
What's that?
I'm not trying to throw you under the bus or slander you. Just recognize that we all have kind of mixed emotions, but not all of them are virtuous.
Well, it feels good when you get attention, especially from people whose opinion you value. It's a lot more meaningful to me to have you four, and we had Chris in here before, but he had to dip. Having you guys in here talking with me, and having a bunch of people that I'm aware of from the corner in our live chat, that's way more valuable to me than the number of people that are watching as an arbitrary number. Which, by the way, another reminder for all of you folks out there, we welcome you to break the fourth wall. Please come and talk with us and chat with us. It can just be in the chat. It can be on pop over on my Discord and we'll let you in. And as long as we chat in the chat a little bit first, that way we know that you're not gonna just come out and stream and scream the N-word. But we want participation. We want to rescue the hordes of hikikomori that we know are out in the world. So.
Yeah, the reason we're critical of all of it is because we value quality conversation and participation.
Yes, very much so.
Well, by the way, last I saw you had 84 viewers.
Mm-hmm. We'll see if that call gets anybody in the chat. Because I actually am really curious if it, I think it might be bots, but if it is actual people who are watching, because YouTube analytics on the back end tells you what videos they're coming from, and so there's a pretty wide variety of different videos that people are coming from, and so I'm curious, like, what's making people click onto this, and then what's making people stay once they do. Like, I don't know if anybody's brave enough to say so. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Not you guys. Well, you guys on stream too, but like people out in the chat.
Yeah, I'm brave enough to say.
Oh, I'm so grateful for you, Noah. You're so brave. Can you tell us what your wisdom is?
You know how when I came on, I said I need a minimum of 50 viewers to come on the stream. But I got to tell you that my maximum is 90. So if it goes above that, you got to
cut it out. Yep.
You got to stay below the radar.
Guys, we need to share the screen.
I don't want to blow up too hard. I don't want to blow up,
Dan's out padding my stats with 11 browsers because he cares. God bless. But yeah, it's... I don't know.
But yeah, to go off what Skink was saying, like part of it's like pruning, right? Like if there's a big plant that is, if you have your variety of plants, and there's one plant that kind of like they're the weeds that kind of grow big and they grow above everything else, and they take all the sun. It kills everything under it. But if you cut it back, and you're able to maintain more of a balance, you can have a lot more diversity in your environment. Yeah. It's kind of the reason why, like, you'll hear a lot of people around TLC being like, after a stream, they'll be like, I wish I had shut up more. Because there is a certain amount of, like, if you feel like you're taking too much attention, you're not leaving as much room for something else to have potentially been grown. I don't think everybody has that impulse always.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, no, you should all humble ourselves.
And humility goes both ways, right? It's like understanding your value, and also understanding that you have something to provide as well. And so it means speaking up when you do have something to share, but it also means shutting up when you know that someone else might have something they need to bring to the table.
That's good. Good.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Oh, you gotta call it, Ron.
Yeah, this has been fun. This is, and no, I'm gonna read your article tomorrow.
Thank
you. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's like, I like it when one of my jokes come into being. It's like, that's pretty cool. I don't know if I should be honored or scared. Maybe both. I'm like,
definitely
Dr.
both.
Strange, look, it worked. And I'm like, oh boy.
My pure, I can my
love is pure. I love exactly what wish you all a good night. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Always a pleasure, Ron. Do I need to send you more music, or you have enough for now? Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
We bonded over Evil Dead references in a hive mind a week or so ago, and started sending him music on that theme.
Nice. Oh shoot.
I mean, I know I definitely love attention, but I also am very conscious of, like, not demanding it from people, like, when I feel like because there is a certain time, like, so I have a sponsor, and there will be times every now and then. His name is Dave, and he lives in Omaha, and I'll call him up like, dude, can I just talk with you for 5 minutes? Then I'll stop. And it's like I'm asking him a favor. Like I have no pretense that what I have to say is of any interest to them whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like I got to get this off my chest.
Yep.
And eh, but then there's other times where it's like, you know, um, there's other times where I just do need to shut up because I don't need to say what I'm saying, and it's actively probably not being received by anyone, you know? So, but then again, I also maybe delusionally think that there's some people that actually enjoy talking to me, you know? There's a couple out there. And so I love talking to them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I try to listen. I try to really listen because I'm not good at it. Yeah, that's an interesting thing about attention. It really is such an important. It may be near everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think another thing to add into this is that, and at some point, probably not for this stream, but like talking a little bit about like shame as well.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things about shame is that is seeking to avoid attention.
Mm-hmm.
Usually in times when you actually do need it, but you also need it from the right. You need it given in the right kind of way, the right kind of spirit, because typically it's something you don't like about yourself that is being uncovered.
Yep.
True.
Yeah, and it's challenging to work through that because, like, oh boy. Like, how do you actually work through shame? Because it is it's a feedback loop, right? It's you start feeling that shame, and then there's even a special version of it where you start feeling ashamed about the fact that you're feeling ashamed, and then it really gets going. It's a good time.
Metal shade.
Yeah. Well, fellas, I got to get out of here. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Wow.
Peace.
Thanks for hanging, Mark.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
You guys want to go for a little bit longer? Or you guys have stuff to do as well?
I can hang out for just a little longer, but I'll probably have to go pretty soon.
We'll call it in 30 minutes.
Works. I got time. I just finally got home, settled down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish that was the idea of, like, loving well. Like, you can't just drive yourself into the dirt and be able to actually take care of people properly. Like, that seems like something that is just so common, as people have this tendency towards martyrdom and then hurt themselves as a consequence of it, and think that they're actually a worse person because they weren't able to overcome that that tendency towards martyrdom. Like, it's frustrating how silly that can be.
Well, I think a lot of people are taught that, like, you are taking up space that somebody else deserves.
Ooh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was a huge part of my upbringing, is that feeling, especially in the places that I was.
Mm-hmm.
Based off of a whole number of things. But,
I think generally, like, the ethos of, like, TLC space is, I don't know, subconsciously aware of the fact that we all have felt that to greater and lesser degrees.
Yep.
Which is, I think, part of the seed of its kind of, like, openness.
How can we help other people work through the guilt and shame problems that we've already like that was the reason why I think Peterson was so important for so many people, was the fact that he really helped a lot of people work through that.
Yeah, I mean, that's somebody who seized attention, but seized attention is like, I have something that needs to be said, damn it.
Mm-hmm. And part of the problem with that too is like, how do you then link people who have things that need to be said with the people that need to hear them? Because that's not trivial either.
Yeah.
Well, and there's also this divide between, you know, I don't know if this fully relates, but it's that same kind of vibe of the self-help book market.
Mm-hmm.
Where like maybe the people who are writing the self-help books are not the people who need to be the audience. They're linked with an audience that maybe don't need to hear what they're writing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also this other kind of further off element that's writing very technical books, but don't know how to communicate them to the people who need it. And so it's only reserved for the people who are able to kind of comprehend it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I think Vicky probably falls in that a little bit.
Definitely. Oh, what was I going to say? Fuck. Because there's the issue with Vervaeke where it's like you're using very technical language to describe something, and it's important to, like, the things that are being described actually deserve to have that technical language used to describe them. Like, it's something that shouldn't just be reduced generally. But there was something else that I wanted to say with that, and I cannot remember what it was. Gosh darn it.
I think that's one of the things that technical language kind of helps, is it helps you to kind of abstract yourself from the emotional position you're entangled in.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of, it is trying to get you a certain sort of like monarchical vision of yourself.
Well, and it definitely
so
has. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. Good.
That it, like whenever you're engaging with a particular person or worldview, there is definitely a monarchical vision that is occurring there that you have to be aware of. Like you can't just go out listening to anyone anywhere and just believing whatever it is that those people are saying. Like you have to have a greater degree of discernment than that. But you also that's the really tricky part. You never really know where or when you're going to find someone who is going to radically shift your understanding of things. And like the kinds of things that you need to be able to pay attention to in order to pick up on those things. Like I think that part of the problem is that a lot of network stuff has been cut out, where people would like, I know a guy who knows a guy kind of a thing. And so if you can rely on that, then you can ask around enough to the point where you can find the person who knows the thing that you need to know. But if you atomize everyone and then also and the thing is too that like there's a lot of the stuff that we talk about as far as trying to help work through that shame, for instance, I don't know how much that was available in a general sense for the longest time. Like I really don't know if that was like, do you know what I'm saying with that?
Well, so I think that we are, I mean, due to kind of, technological changes, like the whole, our felt experience of shame has been tremendously rewired in ways that we are having to adapt to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it's like the territory has changed, the emotional territory, the socio-emotional territory has changed so much that the old rules, the old kind of folk ways of dealing with these sorts of things were somewhat helpful, but they need to be like drastically kind of like reconfigured to deal with. Yeah. Yeah, which I think, I mean, that's one of the things that like the whole, building the concept of an olive and stuff like that is doing is, you're also dealing with like weaponized attention seekers too.
Well, and I wouldn't say just weaponized attention seekers, because I think that is too reductive. Like, it's not just look at me. It's there are people who are trying to prove certain points by their participation in certain things. Like, that's the intent. And so,
attention predators?
Well, it's not attention predators so much. Well, the point that I'm trying to get at is you cannot assume that everyone else is operating off of the same paradigms that you are. You have to understand that other people have different motivations and different intentions than the ones that you do. And you have to approach them with that understanding. And that's not to say that like somebody's bad because they have a different understanding of the world or different motivations than you do. But if it's foolish to like assume that, oh, this person's acting in good faith because I would act in good faith if I were in their position. It's like, no, that's not a valid assumption. And a lot of people have been able to kind of get away with that for a very long time. Like in the high trust society that America was previously, like, you could reliably assume good faith on the part of anybody that you were interacting with. But I also think that there was somehow some function being served by certain people and communities where they would be more discerning in who they were allowing into their communities. And then like you'd have certain people in the community that were known to be like, that's not a good person. And other people would be willing to listen to that person and take their word for it, even if they were like, I don't see anything wrong. But they had shown a track record of like picking out issues. But when you start saying like, well, what's the replicability of that? Like, how do you know that they know what it is? Like, what's the proof? Like, can you rely on that? Why are you relying on that? Like, once you start bringing that all into question, it makes it much more difficult for communities to have that. And like, even if there is an error rate associated with that, I think communities are generally better off for having Grims or gatekeepers or guard dogs.
This is part of why I've been so excited to get my hands on Death Stranding 2. Like, the first game is so much about connecting and the importance of connection. And then the tagline for the second one was, should we have connected? And to reflect on the dangerous other side of being overly connected. Because to a certain extent, like, we are just as connected to one another here as we are to almost anybody else on the internet, right? Like, if you ignore, the personal side of it, if somebody wants access to you, they can pretty well find access to you, and there's no kind of regard for a community that can kind of build up those taboos or an understanding that, maybe this is a bad faith actor. People can kind of go around without their reputation following them, unless they get too big, and then maybe they build a reputation that's just so big that they're a known factor. But there are very few people who fall into that category.
The like lolcow territory.
Yeah. But even then, we have instances that prove themselves otherwise around here, even.
Yep.
Well, it's especially difficult because when you have different members of a community that are paying different levels of attention to something, there might be somebody who is like well known to not be somebody who you should be interacting with, but and like, this is an issue especially for people coming into a community. It's like, hey, everybody is like we're all tracking that this person's somebody you should keep an eye on. But if somebody comes in fresh off the street and they haven't been around for all the interactions that person's had that give that indication, that's tough.
Well, and I think it's also particularly difficult too with like the way TLC is structured. It's very high in openness.
Yes. And
it's considered an active good, and it's part of the identity.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I'd want to change it, even if I had the option to.
Yep.
But at the same time, there is like, you kind of need to have a certain understanding that like, what are you giving up when you are becoming more open?
Mm-hmm.
Like what is the actual trade-off? And this has been the way I've tried to talk about this is kind of like I think I mentioned this at our campfire, but it feels like for some people the gap between AOL and now is just nothing. Like nothing on the internet ever happens.
Mm-hmm.
And people just showed up and they were like, oh, we are on the same internet that was around in the 90s. And it's like, no.
Not even
things
close.
are a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think to tie a bow on the whole topic of the stream, I don't think we fully understood the work that our kind of like verbal shibboleths were doing to protect us.
Yep.
In the past.
Yep.
And now that we're
once you dismantle things, you don't know what you lost until it's gone.
Right. It's not even so much that we're dismantling things. It's just, I mean, we're talking to higher profile people in some of the main stages, and so that's getting, newbies from all sorts of different areas that aren't used to us, and it's just the front porch is getting wider and wider.
Mm-hmm. Matt Krotz is saying he listened to all my last stream because Grizz said there was a coded message about regional potlucks. It wasn't my last stream that he was talking about. It was his last stream. So, just a heads up on that one. And I don't know how coded that really was. It was pretty explicit. But how do I know if I'm being an olive, but unintentionally? I worry because I did not grow up on gamer chats or internet forums, and I'm brand new to all of this. From Olson.
Fine, dude. You're fine.
If
you're worried, you're not.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for watching my last stream anyway, Matt. I appreciate that.
That should be the new thing, is just say that there's a secret in all your streams.
Secret coded messages, but you have to be in the know to see it.
I mean, isn't that what you've been talking about this entire time? Like the secret language you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Your own research, man. It's not my job to educate you.
I mean, to a degree, actually, though. Like, that's... Like... How do I get at this? People expect to be spoon-fed a lot of times, and that's not good either. Like, there is a degree to which I'm gonna play with somebody. I'm gonna play with my food because they should look up things on their own, because it's not always going to be me on the other end of whatever it is of the conversation. There are going to be adversarial actors who are hiding information, and the idea is you learn through interacting with me or someone like me that, like, oh, there's going to be shibboleths that people are using, and then you're actively looking for that in hostile environments. Like, that's the ultimate goal of engaging with somebody in that way.
Yeah, it's you're preparing them for other environments.
Mm-hmm. Well, and specifically less friendly ones. Like,
right.
Learn how to do this here, so that way when it comes up, like, and you actually need to know how to defend yourself, defense against the dark art style, like, learn against a boggart before you go up against a dementor.
Yeah.
But that also.
But the other thing is, like, the thing that I said, like, it's not my job to educate you. That's a meme because that was weaponized, not in a sort of educative, like, you should do some of your own research. That was used as a disciplinary tool to enforce compliance.
Yes.
It's like that is a, like, wordy way of saying shut up and listen.
Yep. Well, and that's the really difficult part with it too, is like sometimes somebody does need to be told shut up and listen, but usually like that particular phrase, its usage was never really like it didn't actually want you to become part of the in-group. It wanted you to understand that you were always going to be part of the out-group.
Yes. So again, Shibboleth is about, like, community boundary maintenance. And specifically community boundary maintenance in a hostile time.
Yes.
When you have concrete enemies that are trying to deceive you.
Well, and I think that an important recognition is the fact that there are always snakes in the garden. They just are more or less active at certain times. So it's not like people want to be able to say like, oh, like I don't need to worry about this because we're fine. And it's like, no, that's not, you can't just make that as an assumption. Like if you are not actively looking for threats, then you have no idea whether there are threats around. And it might be that there aren't. It might be that you are perfectly fine, but you should not be assuming that things are perfectly fine unless you are actively verifying that they are actually fine.
I think it's also interesting to bring in, you know, the "Get behind me, Satan" line of like that of Jesus calling Peter Satan is a way of indicating that, you know, even people who claim to be your friends who have the right intentions can participate in an adversarial way. So understanding that, like, even if, you know, everybody's friends here, that doesn't always mean that it's always you should have your guard down entirely. Like there should be a certain level of like being, you know, not cautious, but, you know, being aware maybe would be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said to Ron earlier about, like, we don't always know the way that we want or need to be loved, and sometimes being a friend, actually loving someone, requires donning that, like, that adversary Satan role sometimes.
Yep.
Sometimes we need to be accused and called on our crap.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And other times it's just, like, fun shit posting.
Yeah.
It's always fun to shitpost. Yeah, Olive was probably, to Matt Krotz, Olive was probably the best shibboleth example that we touched on tonight, because it was like an example of a shibboleth where other people were not aware of it, but some people in the conversation were. And so it's a way of like identifying in-group, out-group without, like, in a subtle way. And so it's like there's a difference between shibboleths that are obviously shibboleths versus shibboleths that are covert shibboleths, like that are normally regular words that are used in conversation, but used within a certain context of a phrase indicate something else that other people are not going to be aware of. So. Because you're not always going to be in a friendly environment. And even, like, this is another thing, too. It's like, even when you're in a friendly environment, that doesn't mean, like, Lucifer was a good guy angel until he became a bad guy angel. And so there's this question of, like, there's always the possibility that somebody who you do love and know and trust could potentially turn on you, and you don't want to dial that up to the point where you're always questioning and always not trusting the people who are close to you. But you do need to be aware of that as a possibility and not just blindly believing in the trust established relationships that you have. And that's like, and you shouldn't be like actively testing your relationships all the time either. Let me just say that.
And even the Peter example, sometimes you can become the adversary unintentionally.
Yep.
And so, like, you're like, yeah, sometimes you become the bad guy.
Yep. Without even meaning to. Just.
When you want what's best for everyone.
But if you want what's best for everybody, but you don't actually know what's best for everybody, then you can get into some trouble.
Betsy's coming here. It's good. I accidentally offended my associate pastor tonight by telling him I mistakenly read Californians as prideful because of their vocal fry. My pastor is Californian.
Oops.
That's like an old school shibboleth. The way you say your words.
Vocal fry. I don't think I've ever heard of it.
It's like the Kardashian accent.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what he means as soon as he writes that, but like I had never heard of it referred to as a vocal fry before. Like that's a shibboleth to me, or a new word for me, I guess.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had a YouTube comment make fun of me for my vocal fry.
Wait, what's your
it's
vocal
less
fry?
obvious when well, no, it's just less obvious when like a lower voice does it. It's not as clear. But it's much more obvious when a person with a higher voice.
Like, oh my god, that's wild.
Yeah.
Guys. I'm still researching that. What do y'all say? Is that a good place to call it for the evening?
I think I'm probably gonna hop off here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Good place to. Well, okay. Should I play exit branding? Like that's something I've been debating. Yeah, I'll play exit branding, but before that, well,
I mean, how does it mesh with your close phrase?
Well, I'm gonna do the close phrase, and then we'll play the ending branding, and then that'll be it. Because I want to do. Okay, I'll keep that secret so that way I have the motivation. Because secret things work like that for whatever reason. Well, do you guys want to help me bring or take us out of here?
Let's see if I can do this. All right, now, say friends. Don't you dare go hollow.
Close enough. Good night, everybody.
Good night.